TIFU by tackling a rude customer in front of my boss, his wife and a full bar.
I work at one of the most famous bars in my hometown. It was a very busy shift and I was working really hard, with only my boss helping out a little bit. I take orders, prepare the drinks, serve them and cash in. For about 6 hours there was a group of rude, drunk customers who were causing problems left and right, to the point where I had to apologize to other customers. I told my boss what was going on, but after the recent lockdown he was desperate to make any money he could. So they stayed. They repeatedly made stupid requests specifically for wasting my time and made fun of me for having to do what they say. They were insulting me over hours and I had to try really hard to keep my cool. I had to discuss with them with every drink I served them as they often refused to pay. I then had to call my boss over just to have them tell him that they were willing to pay but I refused to take their money. That was their kind of sick fun and they really enjoyed themselves while getting on everyone's nerves. Suddenly the whole bar smells of cigarettes. The group had started to smoke inside. My boss's wife told the guys that they have to smoke outside. They called her a stupid bitch but went outside. My boss still allowed them on our premises. Business finally calmed down a bit after 7 hours without a break and I sit down at the table where my boss's wife and their daughter were sitting to have a few seconds to chat with them before returning to work.
That's when my boss's wife saw one of the guys smoking inside again. She said, "He's smoking again. What's his problem?" And I immediately knew who she was talking about. I turned my head to look at the bar and saw him standing about 3 meters, around 9, from the entrance, a lit cigarette in his hand. I jump up from the bench and walk over with heavy steps. I was angry. I grab him around his chest and start dragging him out. I'm really skinny and he was at least twice as heavy and a little bit taller than me. But still, I apparently misjudged his ability to resist and was dragging him too fast. Suddenly he trips over his own feet right as we were through the door and he fell between the outdoor tables, dragging me down with him, making a huge mess in the process. I'm in complete shock because I didn't plan to hurt him, and I was screaming at him without realizing it.
I only snapped back to reality when my boss and his wife dragged me away from the guy and his angry friends. I apologized 1,000 times. After half an hour my boss and his wife calmed down and told me that it was extremely stupid to act in blind rage but not the end of the world. Because nobody got hurt. I feel so terrible and don't want to go back to work. Because I know I will be judged for my mistake for weeks or months to come. It's a miracle I didn't get fired on the spot. But I now have to work all the unpleasant shifts like Christmas and New Year's Eve. I'm okay with that.
What really messes me up is the extreme guilt and shame I feel. It was the first time in 7 years of working in this bar that I lost control of my anger when dealing with rude customers. Hopefully also the last time I made such a stupid mistake. Dr. Tackled a rude customer to the ground in front of my boss and miraculously didn't lose my job. Shame and guilt are eating away at my soul. Edit, spelling. English is not my first language. Feel free to point out errors so I can improve the post's readability.
Your boss is a bitch who lets customers abuse his staff for a bit of money. Yeah, your boss is an asshole. Former bar manager here. And when I was on a bar, me and my staff operate a zero-tolerance policy regarding abuse to staff. I had my staff's backs 100% and threw out many customers over this. If your boss doesn't have your back in a bar, leave. It is a shitty and potentially dangerous environment. You need backup at all times, dude. Even just for shitty customers and needing someone to have your back. Doesn't have to be physical. I'd have applauded you for your 7 hours of patience. Not only towards them, but towards my greedy ass for needing their money so bad for the last 7 hours that I even let them call my wife a bitch. They called your boss's wife a stupid bitch and he let them stay? Big man. Your boss is a douchebag. Getting fired sounds like a blessing. Your boss is a massive asshole. The reason you weren't fired is because he's probably paying you way less than you deserve and you Haven't realized it yet. And now he's guilt-tripping you into working over Christmas and I. You can do better, man. Get the hell out of that bar, trust me homie. Any small, family, bar like that will kick you to the curb, no fucks given.
Your boss fucked up by letting them stay.
Your boss sounds useless. Prioritizing profit over how his wife and staff get treated is disgusting. You do need to learn how to restrain and remove people properly though. Sounds to me like your boss is a greedy boss who doesn't give a shit about how his wife and employees are treated. Your boss fucked up in multiple ways. You didn't. Keeping customers like that around the establishment will most certainly drive away the better clientele. This douche won't even stand up for his wife. So he certainly won't stand up for you in the future. Please find a different job. Most famous bar in town without a dedicated security guard? Tell your boss to figure his shit out before he gets into deep water. Every bar should have a trained and licensed security guard on the premise to deal with customers like this during busy hours. Don't feel bad. You were put in a situation you aren't trained for with no one around to step in and take over. -8-ish years experience security management for venues and bars in one of the largest cities in Canada. Dude. I was a bar owner for over 20 years and I would have jumped over my own bar to kick some fucking ass. We would have locked the doors just like in the movie A Bronx's Tale. I would always have my employees' backs. Kick ass and ask questions later. This shit would have never been allowed in my establishment. If any customer would show disrespect, then their money was no fucking good. So you worked there for 7 years and your boss takes some asshole's side over yours and his wife? Damn. And you did good. If it had been me in your place I would have. Insert internet tough guy answer here. Literally no reason for you to put up with this shit. Your boss doesn't respect you or protect your interests, so go find a new boss. Dude, is there a shortage of jobs right now? Leave and find a better one. But after the recent lockdown he was desperate to make any money he could. They often refused to pay. I think your boss fucked up. This should be labeled TIFU. By knowing how terrible my boss is and still not quitting my job. Not sure you're the one who foo here. TIFU Tika equals today I kicked ass. The smoking indoors after being sent outside for doing it once already was just asking to get cold. Clocked. You did that guy a favor. Selfish pile of shit that whole group sounds like.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.